Hi, Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
We're currently in ARC 1950 in the French Alps, and we have driven over 1,000 miles from Yorkshire out to the Alps, and we just thought we'd share our journey with you.
So it's 10:45 on Tuesday night and we have had the longest day ever.
We're sat in a beautiful little park up in the centre of Dover, just behind the police station. There's a few more campers around. It's actually all right. We've used it before and it's a really quiet spot, and it's only a couple of minutes from the ferry in the morning, so it's ideal. But today...
Oh God, it's been like a war of attrition. We left our house in Settle at 10:30. A lot of it's our own fault. We realised last night that we hadn't got any euros in cash, so we ordered some, but we could only pick them up from the post office after 10 o'clock.
And we also, Jackie woke up having had a sleepless night, worrying about, we've changed the van insurance and we haven't got a paper copy of it. We've got electronic copies and we've got copies on our phone and our laptop, but we needed a printed copy, didn't we?
Well, you do. You're supposed to travel in France with your VO5 document and a printed copy of your insurance. So we couldn't find anywhere in Settle that would do it, and our printer's broken, so we did call in at my mum's on the way down in Cheshire. We also had to fit in a little visit to your mum.
Yeah, with me going away, I like to see mum before I go away, so we visited her at the care home, and that was lovely. Never going to regret that, but it did add a little bit to the day, and also going and checking on her house before we went away as well, which, yeah, I checked on Google Maps this morning and it said 1,000 miles from Yorkshire to Bourg Saint-Maurice, and we've done about 400 of them, haven't we?
403 to be exact.
Yeah, and it's been a long day, but what it does mean is that the next couple of days when we're in France are going to be not as bad. So I think we're going to turn in for the night, and we might have a bit more energy to chat to you in the morning, but I'm absolutely broken, so I'll see you in the morning.
Night.
Morning. It's 7:30 in a beautiful Dover car park.
I think the sun might even be trying to come out. We forgot to mention last night, when we were so tired, just how awful the weather was as well, travelling down. Unbeknown to us, when we set off, that we would be travelling through Storm Henk, and the wind and the absolute torrential rain that we had for about 6 hours of driving.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we're looking forward to, after probably about 2 weeks of solid rain, just getting out of the rain at some point. And I don't really care what other weather comes, as long as it's just not rain. One of the big questions that always gets asked when you are crossing the channel is, what's the best way to do it? And we do prefer the ferry, mainly because it's cheaper, and for me as a driver it gives me a break. And then secondly, you might be wondering why on earth we decided to stay the night at Dover and not get a late night ferry across.
Yeah, we've tried it a few different ways. Last winter when we went skiing, we were on one of the first ferries out. I think we had to be at the harbour for 5:30, but we were just so tired travelling through France that we just gave up travelling quite early.
Yeah, we had to have a little nana nap at the side of the road at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so that didn't really work for us. But now, we talked about the Schengen rules in one of our previous videos, and if I can remember, I'll put one of the links above. But if we set off late at night, then it actually uses a whole day of Schengen, which we don't want to do. It doesn't really affect us for this ski holiday, but it might affect us for what we do later in the year, particularly in our long summer break.
Yep, so that's it. We need to get packed up and the boat is waiting for us.
So it's the end of our first day in France and we have covered just over 300 miles and we are at one of the most beautiful little deserted French villages, seemingly in the middle of nowhere.
Yep, complete with its church bells. We're in a little place called Pont-l'Evêque and it is just below Troyes, and we normally stay around this area because it's kind of halfway between Calais and the Alps.
Yeah, and I can't drive the full way. It would destroy me. And we were saying today, the hardest bit of the journey is the first bit all the way down to Troyes, which is from Yorkshire down to Dover and then across the flat agricultural lands of northern France. It's tough going, and today it was particularly tough.
Oh my goodness, we got the shock of our lives. I think we'd been off the ferry for about 5 minutes. We'd just about got onto the French motorway, the toll road, and all our mobile phones just suddenly started pinging with alerts, a really loud siren, and there was a national alert for a weather storm warning. It was a red alert.
Going through the Calais area, so we just feared it was just going to get worse and worse and worse, and it was pretty tough. The driving conditions, as you'll have seen, were not great, but the toll roads, they keep them moving and they keep them clear. There was a nasty smash the other way, but and then we seemed to drive out of it.
Yeah, and the other advantage, the toll roads, although they're expensive, they come at a cost. They're really quite quiet as well.
In terms of a really common question people have of, is it worth doing it, the toll roads, particularly in winter? We just want to get to the Alps and we want to get there quickly and we want to get there safely. So toll roads, it's just something you've got to pay for.
Yeah, we're about halfway down, and I think at the moment we've spent €42 on tolls. So I think it's about 60, 70 euros altogether.
So we've been reassured by one of the locals that we're in for a very quiet night here because there's less than 100 residents in the whole village, and then the journey gets much more exciting tomorrow because it feels like we're getting there and we're heading towards the mountains.
Now, this is my favourite part of the journey because you can actually start seeing the mountains in the distance and you just get closer to them and it's just stunning.
So the plan is to sort of head for Annecy in the morning and then see where we get up to. We've got an idea of a couple of really good park-ups that we could use, but it's all weather dependent. So we will see you in the morning.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, we've had a lovely drive down today. It's so much better than yesterday. The weather has been actually really nice and sunny and clear blue skies. We set off with the intentions of stopping somewhere just below Annecy, but we're not there, are we, Rich?
We're not. We've headed all the way through to Bourg Saint-Maurice, which was a bit of a surprise. But as we sort of intimated last night, the last part of the journey today has been so much better. It's been so much more interesting. The weather's been better. We've been heading to the mountains.
This is always my favourite part of the journey. The closer you get to Annecy and Albertville, which is near the French Alps, the closer the mountains get and the scenery changes. It's been beautiful.
So we headed down via Dijon and Bourg-en-Bresse, and then we dropped into Annecy, which was surprisingly crazy.
Yeah, we were going to go and have a look around the actual centre because I love the town centre of Annecy, but it was heaving, and being in the camper van, it's not easy to park because a lot of the car parks are underground. So we carried on and we stopped off down at the south of the lake.
Yeah, one of our favourite happy places, and it was just such a nice place to stop and take it all in. And then we headed to a park up that we'd earmarked, that we'd used in previous years, that's absolutely beautiful. But this year,
wow, we've had so much rain, and when we got there, the park up is on grass, but normally it's still quite firm even in winter, so you can stay in. It's a proper air, but it's an air on grass, and it was like a bog when we got there. So we took one look at it and decided, actually, we're only an hour from Bourg Saint-Maurice. I looked on the camp's website and they had pictures free, so we've just dashed all the way down here.
And actually it makes tomorrow so much easier. You know, we've just got a few bits and bobs to do around town. And yeah, we're just then waiting for the kids to arrive on Saturday.
Very exciting. Well, after travelling since Tuesday, we have finally arrived and it's Saturday night.
1,000 miles, well, a little bit over 1,000 miles from Yorkshire to Les Arcs 1950, and we have got about 15 minutes before the kids arrive because they flew into Geneva, and we are beyond excited.
We are. The apartment that we've rented for the week with the kids is just amazing. It's better than anything we've ever stayed in before, I think.
Yeah, and a little bit different to a camper van. So after a good few nights on the road, which we absolutely love, it's quite nice to get up here.
Yeah, so yesterday we had just a pottering day actually in Bourg Saint-Maurice. We stayed there for 2 nights at the Camping Hootopia site. We did a little bit of shopping and we sorted out our skis for the few weeks.
And then driving up the mountains, it just got better and better. A little bit sketchy with the conditions.
As you'll see in the videos, there was some times when I did close my eyes just a little bit, but Richard put the new tyres on, or we've had new tyres put on the van, and the difference they made in our confidence on those mountain roads.
Yeah, we've never driven up roads where it's literally been cut out of the snow and getting up to the height of a car. So that was really interesting, and we're just so happy to be here.
So what's coming up in the next few days? The kids are actually quite excited. They said that they want to do a YouTube day in the life of early retirement wanderlust with us.
So that's going to be good. If you're not into skiing, please don't worry about it, because what we want to do is we're also going to show you around the resort and show you what life's like in the mountains in the winter. It is a beautiful place, so we are going to do a bit of a tour around the accommodation that we've got here and also the resort of Les Arcs 1950 and the bigger ski domain that we're in.
We've got a week with the kids and then they're flying back home, and then we are back down in the valley. We're staying at the campsite in Bourg Saint-Maurice again, and we will do a bit of a contrast where we can show you a day in the life of skiing from a campsite where you have to get the funicular back up to the ski resort.
And more importantly, we've got a good few weeks of living in the van, in the Alps, on a campsite. We're really excited for it because it allows us to stay out here for longer. So that's about it.
Yeah.
We've got to go now because the kids are about to arrive.
Bye.
See you later.